There we go and all. We are planting some more seeds today. Just going to go through the box of what we have and get a bunch going into some seedling trays. This side over here is where we are planting. This side over here, I'll pop the ones that I'm not going to plant. Originally I thought onion was a summer crop, but it actually needs to be planted at the end of winter. Cauliflower to heirloom variety, and this one can be planted. He reckons it's going to grow in summer, so we'll put it on the planting side. Broccoli sprouting. This one is broccoli Italian sprouting, and it says, I'm here in the blue, it says that I can plant it in spring and summer. Lots of my assumptions were wrong. I'd assumed that the broccoli and the cauliflower were to be planted in autumn, but I guess not. We have marigold, see if that will come clear. Spring and early summer. Pop a couple of marigold in as well.
Are you doing a live?
Yep. There's no one watching at the moment. We're going through seeds and we are figuring out what we're going to plant and what time of the year to plant it. So this one's to sow in late summer and autumn. We are not in a cool climate, so these ones will be at the end of summer, but probably the start of autumn actually.
Do you think I will like this?
We have so in summer and autumn. These are edible flowers. Oh no, cauliflower, purple cauliflower to be planted in summer and autumn. So we will wait off until summer for that one. So in autumn and winter, they are for spring onions. That will be later in the year. We have black cherry tomatoes, spring and early summer. I do have two types of tomato growing already, but neither of them are cherry, so I might put a couple of cherry tomatoes in the garden. Welcome to the live. We are planting some seeds into some seedling trays. Spring and summer lavender. This was not for the food, but I'll put them over to the planting side anyway. We have onion, which will be planted later in the year. We have popping corn. I still haven't looked at popcorn to see. It's not on. There's no one. I still haven't put these ones on to see if they're going to cross-pollinate with this sweet corn, so I haven't planted them yet. It says to plant in spring and summer. We've still got a long time to go. I'll look into it, but we won't plant them today. And we have onion, white onion, which is autumn and winter. spring onion, which is autumn and winter. We have sage. Broadleaf sage. I think my wife would like that, so we'll put some of that in the garden. We have tomatoes. We already have lots of tomatoes planted, so they can go next time. Red onion is for autumn and winter, so they will be later. I need to organize how I'm going to store all my seeds. Currently they're just all mixed together, so I need to go through them each time. We have bok choy. It says to sow in spring, autumn and summer. I'll give it a go. I thought a big leafy green like that wouldn't be able to handle the summer here, but we will try. So in spring and summer for Cossack pineapple. That's something that I'm very interested in trying. I think I have another one of those seeds, another packet of those already open. We have Egyptian spinach. That's probably the main plant that I want to plant, so that will come over to be planted today. Cossack pineapple. There's the one. We're going to plant those ones. We'll keep these ones over here. We have cauliflower. These ones are to be planted in autumn and spring. It's weird because the other cauliflower that I've just picked out said it could be planted in summer. It's now mid-spring, so by the time these are germinated and ready to go into the ground, it is going to be early summer. Baby spinach is autumn and winter. The baby spinach that we have in the garden at the moment is just finished. This one is Mexican sour gherkin, which is in spring and summer. So we'll put those ones in the garden. This one is edible flower. Raised seedlings in summer and autumn, basically summer here now, so they're good to go in. Carrot, summer and autumn, we will plant those. And we have lettuce, which is sow in spring and autumn. I think it's going to be a bit late for those, but we will plant a few and see how they go. Alright, I'll move these out of the way, and I currently have 4 of the little trays, and I will probably plant a few in some of the bigger trays. The corn that I had has not actually germinating. I planted 24 cells of corn last week, and none of them have germinated. So we're not going to be planting any more corn today because I don't have any. I'll have to go and buy some. So basically what we're doing, this is a commercial seed raising mix. We are going to lightly fill them. We're not going to push it in now. When we're going to plant the seeds, we will put the depths that the seeds need. We'll press it down that deep, and then we will add a small amount more of this seed raising mix on top. So currently, I'll just fill these now. Bit of a tip, if you're going to be using seed raising mix and working in such small containers like these, if you pop it into a decent sized storage container, you don't have to worry about the bag spilling all over the table. I'm pulling out pieces that are a bit big. I'm not sure why they're in a seed raising mix, but it's not a big problem. I'll just take them out as we find them. Thank you for the like. Planting a bunch of seeds into the seedling trays today, just for our own garden. We're working on which plants grow best in our climate. And once we've worked out which ones they are, collected seeds and started on the climatizing, we'll probably start selling seedlings as well. But we're not just going to plant seeds from the shops and get a quick buck out of them. Alright, that's the 4 small trays. Let me grab some bigger ones. Actually, I don't need bigger ones, I just need some more smaller ones. And then maybe that one. Alright. So these were pumpkin, Queensland Blue, which I forgot what pumpkin I planted. I'm glad I've still got that label so I can remember. These were from parsley. My daughter loves parsley. My wife loves, what's it called? Tabbouleh. On a kebab she would only have tabbouleh and cheese. Crazy, I know. We have cucumber. These are in the garden now. These are the ones that are growing. So I've got a little bit bigger trays. These are 4, and then I've got some bigger ones again. So not sure which ones we're going to plant in which yet, but we'll fill them all up and we'll get planting. We do have quite a few seeds to plant. So just putting the commercial seed raising mix, I've just put it into a bit of a storage container just so when I'm sorting this all out I don't have to worry about it all falling on the table or the floor or wasting it all. So we'll put it in lightly pack it, well not even pack it in, just fill them to the top. We will put the seeds in at the depth that they're specified, and then we will cover them up with a little bit more seed raising mix and tap it down, give it a really good water, and set it up so it's in the morning sun but doesn't get the harsh afternoon sun. Where's everybody from? Is it growing season there, or are you guys moving into winter? We're in southeast Queensland and it is currently middle of spring, so most plants will grow here at the moment. This out of the way. And we'll move some of these into frame. I think what we're going to do is plant well, I'll show you what I have to plant and then we will get on to planting. We're doing beetroot. We have lots of beetroot growing in our garden. We plant it every month or every couple of months to try and get a continual harvest. They do last okay in the fridge, but I prefer to eat it fresh from the garden. We're going to plant purple carrots, and I also have some other carrots. I think they're white. Yep, lunar white carrots. In Cairns, welcome. How's the temperature up in Cairns? We're in southeast Queensland and it is hot, very hot today. I haven't looked at the temperature, but it would have to be mid-30s. So this says germination 2 to 3 weeks at 10 to 28 degrees Celsius. It says to plant them in spring, summer or autumn. So 28 degrees Celsius in summer don't really match up here, and I'm sure they don't in Cairns either. But we're going to pop them in and see how we go. We're going to be putting in some Australian lettuce. Most lettuce doesn't handle the heat here, but again, this is saying spring and autumn. We're currently in spring, and I'm not sure. I'm only going to plant a few because I'm not convinced it's going to work. Oh, that's strange. It's probably hotter down here than it is up there. I'm sure that'll change later on in spring and summer. You guys get some heat up there and it's quite warm. Edible flowers. I think we're going to grow these. It says in summer and autumn, so I feel like these ones should be okay. We will be running these mainly for drinks. We've got a nice entertainment area planned, so I'm not sure if we'll get it finished for this summer, but it might be an overwinter thing. Feels like 35. Same. Where I'm sitting right now, I'm in the sun. It's well, same time as you, later in the afternoon, and it is still very warm. Cossack pineapple. These Cossack pineapple and the Egyptian spinach are the main plants that I'm wanting to plant today, so I'm really happy that we got those. Egyptian spinach, that was the next one that I was trying to tell you guys about. It grows in hot weather. It germinates 7 to 14 days, so nice and quickly. I think the last time I germinated, it actually germinated in 4. So they will be a leafy green that we'll be able to plant and enjoy all through summer. This one is cauliflower, but it is telling me that I'm in here in the blue. It is telling me that I can plant it in spring and summer. So I think you up in Cairns, you can only plant it in autumn. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how that works. I'm not going to plant a lot, but we'll put a couple in there. Some marigold. Just going to put a few of them in. Supposedly they keep away some of the pests. Lots of my plants are getting eaten at the moment, so I'm going to have to work on some pest management. And we have Chinese wombat. It's not going to grow. Summer, it says in a cool climate, so we're not going to plant those. They can go. No, I've never had much luck with cauliflower either. They always come up loose. But again, I've probably never really had them through winter, so I'll plant a couple now, let them grow through summer, but I'll plant some at the end of summer, and hopefully we can get them going, and I try and get a decent crop. The other one I have is broccolini, so I haven't tried to grow that one before. I've grown a few broccoli and they've worked okay, like the heads of broccoli, so we'll see how these ones work. Put that one over here. Mexican sour gherkin. I can't remember what the other common name was that I had for these, but they're like a really little cucumber. It looks like a tiny watermelon. For a while I didn't even think it was a real plant. I thought it was just AI, but I have some seeds, so we're going to plant them and hopefully they work well. 4 others that I'm going to plant. I have sage. My wife likes sage, so we will grow some of that. We have lavender. Again, doesn't really go with the food garden, but we will find somewhere to put it. I'll actually put those two separate. I'll put them in their own tray. We have black cherry tomatoes. We currently have 2 different types of tomatoes growing, but neither of them are cherry. So we're going to plant those today. We already have rocket in the garden as well, but leafy greens are a bit of a pain to get growing through summer. So I know rocket grows well, we will plant some more. Alright, well, I think what we'll do is we will go over to, just the 4 one here. A bit of a weird angle there. We're going to put lavender and sage in this one. Just need to get some bags. Give me a couple of seconds. I will be back with some bags to put those in after I open them. Alright, thank you for hanging around. You think I'd be a little bit more organized? I have scissors to cut them open. I have a pen to put the holes and also fill out with what I've put in what container. And the bags to put the seeds in. So we have the lavender. Excuse the neighbor's dogs. So it says to sow these spacing 80 centimeters apart, and doesn't say how deep, but generally you go twice as deep as the seed. So we'll get a couple of seeds out and we'll see how we go. Okay, tiny seeds for lavender. And so that means we would be barely covering them at all. So we would just make a slight trench, something big in there. We will remove that. Slight little trench in these two. And we will plant, let's say 4 seeds per side. That one's got a few more than 4, but that's okay. It's funny, we have a nice warm day, calm with no wind, and I decide to do some seedlings, and every time the wind picks up, starts blowing stuff around. That's alright, we'll work with it. Okay, so I was planning on 4, but we're doing more than 4. We can always thin it out as they start growing. Alright. So that's the left hand side, and it has lavender. Keep things organized, put it into its own little bag. We've got to organize what type of storage system we're going to use for our seeds, because we will be keeping as many of our own seeds as we can from all the plants that we've been planting today and everything else that we've bought commercially. So we'll have to work out some type of container or folder. I'm not left-handed, but we'll work left-handed so we can keep the light on these pots. I probably should have gone the other way around. Again, making a little trellis, gallery tree there. We are going to cut these seeds open. These ones are sage. I think the dogs want to be just involved in the conversation, don't they? Alright, tiny little seeds again for sage. So we'll put spread them along there as we go. And we will put a tiny bit to cover up. Pat it down gently. That one's going to get put to the side to have a good water at the end of this. And just write down what I've planted in there, which side. So, left is lavender. Right is sage. I'll just keep everything that I'm planting here in order, move it over to the growing racks, and I will give them some labels. Alright, let's go the bigger one here. I think we're going to put I'll turn it that way actually. We're going to change it to top. Alright, top we are going to do broccoli, and bottom we are going to do cauliflower. Cauliflower's on the bottom. I'll put 2 in each section. We will put some little holes in there. Actually, we're going to put 2 in each hole. No, we aren't. We're going to do 1 in each hole because I planted these a couple of weeks ago as well, and every single seed germinated, so I don't think we need to overplant them too much. One extra, they can go over there. And the same thing goes for the broccoli. I've confused myself now. I'm going to have to watch back at this video, unless any of you can remember which one I just planted. I've written cauliflower for the bottom, so I'm not sure now. Cauliflower, we'll say it's on the bottom. I'll watch the video back later. If I did plant broccoli on the bottom, actually, where are we? Wow, now I'm really confused. Cauliflower and broccoli. I reckon I've put broccoli in the bottom. I'm going to turn it around and we will find that out later once I've watched the video. So we currently have broccoli planted, I think. We will put them over there and we will move on to cauliflower. Okay, cauliflower in the bottom. Don't need to do anything crazy with the holes. Again, every single one of these that I planted last time germinated, so I'm just going to put one per hole. One extra, I could go over there. Alright. We'll grab a little handful to cover up in these sections. I find adding extra instead of trying to cover over the original with the original dirt does a better job. It doesn't disturb the seeds as much. They stay at the depth that I wanted them. I'll pat that down. It's not going in there, not going in there very firm. All right, it's done. So we have lavender, sage, broccoli, and cauliflower. And then we are now down to the small pots. We will be putting, okay, roughly about the same amount of time, 7 to 14 days, and those are a bit longer. Maturity 110, 7 to 14 days. So we're going to put some flowers and some spinach together. It doesn't matter if they don't come up at the same time. We can pull a couple out without pulling the rest out. Alright, so these have come out of the bag, the white bags. Luckily I put them into the clear plastic Ziploc bags. So we have spinach we will put in the top. I'm going to put 2 in each. All these seeds that I'm planting out of the clear or the little white bags are new, so I'm pretty sure they're going to have a pretty good germination rate. These are Egyptian spinach, which should handle our extreme days, I've been told. We will see. Let me write that down before I forget. So top is Egyptian and bottom is flower. I generally don't grow a lot of flowers. These are edible flowers, and the wife wants to put them into some cocktails. We bought all these plants from Happy Valley Seeds, which is online, and they arrived, I think they arrived in 4 business days, and so far the germination rate has been fantastic. Me looking after them, that's another question. What we're going to do, these seeds are tiny. It'd be nice if all the plants had nice big seeds, but they don't. Alright, you're not going to see these going in, but I will count. Well, actually I won't count, I'll just spread them out reasonably thin. Maybe each one's getting 4 or 5 seeds. And a light cover to put over the top. I should really be doing this on a tray or something that I can just scoop the seedling mix back up. I'm not. But even if I did, I wouldn't put it back into the other seedling container, the seedling mix container, because I may have spilt some seeds. I would not want those popping up in another container and not knowing what they were. So I would have just moved it over to the garden. I'm okay for some random food plants to pop up in the garden, but not in seedling trays. Alright, so the bottom was spinach, the bottom is the edible flowers. We will keep planting. Next one. Let's have a look. We have Australian lettuce, 7 to 14 days. Germination 2 to 3 weeks. We'll put the carrots together. Beetroot. It says the beetroot is going to be coming up, I know, harvest time 10 to 12 weeks. Germination in 10 to 14 days. I'm pretty sure beetroot's faster than that, but that's okay. We will plant the lettuce and the beetroot in this one. That'll be close enough. Again, we'll put some little divots in here. And we will be planting a couple of seeds in each one. We will go, the top is lettuce and the bottom is beetroot. I think I'm doing these videos as much for me as I am for you. I generally forget something or where I put something, what order I've done it in, so I can always come back and watch them. Alright, Australian lettuce. We're going to put 2. I haven't tried these before actually, so we're going to put 2 in each hole. I'm not convinced that they are going to last very long in our heat here, but even if we get a few weeks of some more leafy greens, I'll be happy with that. Let them go to seed, collect the seeds, and we'll have plenty more for when it is a better time to plant them. Alright, top is lettuce and bottom is going to be beetroot. Beetroot comes out in each one of these isn't actually a seed, it's a seed pod. So when you plant one seed pod, you can get multiple plants that come out of it. I don't know how many they say, but I would, if I had to guess, I'd say between 2 and 4 plants out of each seed pod. I already have a bunch of beetroot growing, but I will continue to plant it, and we use beetroot here a lot. I'm actually going to plant 2 beetroot per 2 seed pods per container, because you can pick beetroot at any time. So we'll let them grow, we will harvest some baby beets, then we will plant some more, then they'll be thinned out and we'll be able to let them grow into big beets. Alright, 2, actually 3 in that one, that's okay. I'd prefer to overplant beetroot than underplant it. And a small amount to cover. Okay, that is lettuce and beetroot. Let me get those out of the way. I need to move them back into the container until these, in case the wind decides to get them. Let's do the next one is carrots. These are just going to get spread lightly. Carrot seeds are tiny. We won't actually put any holes, we'll just pack them down a tiny bit tighter. Some people say that direct sowing carrots works better. I find that it doesn't really make a difference. As long as you're gentle with them and you plant them out before the taproot would reach the bottom of the pot. I haven't had any problems. My carrots still come out with a reasonable Reasonable straightness, I guess. Lightly tap these ones in. So that one got 6. That one got a few more, maybe 8. And then about another 6. They are purple carrots. Again, you can pick carrots earlier, so it doesn't really matter how close they're planted together. You can also use the greens in salads. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'll probably use it as a make a plate look pretty before I decided to eat it. But I need to write this down. Top is purple carrot, and bottom is going to be white carrots. You can see the size of the seeds. There's one sitting in the corner of the packet there, tiny. Let me grab these out. Oh, of course the wind comes when we're doing seeds. Five in that one. That one got about 7. Wow, that one got about 12. That's okay. I was saying you can just pick carrots early. Doesn't matter how big they are. Those ones are carrot Luna White. The top row is purple carrots, and we have orange carrots in the garden already. Put those to the side. And a light covering to keep them safe. Tap them down. Nothing's getting tapped down tight. Just we need to be able to make sure that the soil is touching the seed, and that is to help with keeping it moist to germinate. Alright, I have 5 lots of seeds left, and I only have 4 containers. Well, 4 rows of the cells. So I'm either not going to plant something, or I will have to grab another pot. We have Cossack pineapple. That is a definite. We will be planting that one in the top row. I'm not even sure I'm saying Cossack is the right word. And in the bottom of that one, I think I will plant the Mexican sour gherkin. They're going to be a climbing plant. They're a little cucumber. So Cossack pineapple. We will make the holes. If there was anything big in there, we would pull them out. This is a commercial seed raising mix, so there shouldn't be anything too crazy going on. Alright, we are going to go 2, wow, I was going to go 2 in each, but they're more like 4 or 5 in each. That's okay. So that's the Cossack pineapple, and then the next one that I was going to go with that was going to be the Mexican sour, what do we call them? Mexican sour gherkin. I actually didn't think these were a real plant for quite a while. So I'll be interested to see how they go. The seeds do just look like cucumber seeds. And I will be planting them in the bottom. So a gherkin in the bottom. I'm just writing them down. One in each, a couple of spares. We can thin them out later if we need to. Grab a small handful, cover the seeds, and tap it down lightly. Just tapping it down so we can get, making it so that the seed mix is touching the seeds so they can stay moist and germinate as best that they can. Alright, I have 2 rows. Actually, I have more than what I thought. Let me see. We planted that. Okay, I've got 3 left. I've got black cherry tomatoes, I have marigolds, and I have rocket. I think I will direct sow some more rocket into the garden. I won't worry about planting them into the seedling trays because I have plenty of rocket already growing. Removing any large things out of the seed raising mix, that's going to stop the seeds from coming up or the roots from going down. Marigold. That's interesting because Cossack is Balkan. I don't know what Balkan is. Is that another language, is it? Cossack pineapple look like I think it's a gooseberry. It's a little, let's say, tomato looking fruit that has a husk that dries out and they're ready to eat once they fall off the plant. Ukraine. Okay. I wonder where the plants are from. I wonder if they're from over there. Okay, so in the top we are doing marigold. We will do 2 seeds. I don't actually know which way they're meant to go. I'll put one up, one down. Put them in a bit, put these ones in a bit deeper. And we will see if it matters. If you can see here, one end has a white little section, the other end is a lot darker. So I put one in both directions. We'll see if it matters. Those seeds can go. Not really sure why I have them both in Ziploc bag inside a Ziploc bag, but that's okay. And then we will go black cherry tomatoes. I googled the best tasting tomatoes and this was one of them. So I have high hopes for the flavors. We will get these out if I can. I really would only like a couple of plants. I'll plant 1 seed in each container. And we will cover them over. Alright, on that one we did tomato black on the bottom and what did I plant in the top? Marigold. The type of marigold was called assassin marigold. No idea why. I'm not really a flower grower. I'm definitely more about food than flowers. But that is the seeds that I've planted today. Let me move the rest of the seeds away and I will get some water. And then afterwards we might go for a walk down to the garden. So we have a misting bottle here. Gonna give these a really big water in tonight. And then we will water them in the mornings and monitor if they're keeping the moisture through the day. I'm going to set them up so they are in the morning sun, and by lunchtime they should come out into the shade, so the harsh afternoon sun doesn't get to the brand new seedlings. Just need to go and fill up the water. I won't be a sec. Alright, we're back. We are watering the new seedlings in. We use a mist so it doesn't move the seeds. This watering wouldn't really matter, but once they start putting out those tiny little hair roots, we don't want to be moving them around or disrupting them at all. Especially something like the carrot, where the root is the part of the food that we're eating. If you disrupt the root early on, it won't grow nice and long. Welcome to the live. We're just planting some seedlings, some seeds, and then we're going to go for a walk down very shortly and have a look through the garden. The sun's getting low in the sky. We are in southeast Queensland, Australia. It's currently spring. This commercial seed mix has water absorbing, a couple of different water absorbing things, so we're going to give it a good water now, and I'll come back in about half an hour and give it another water. Hopefully all the water it was going to absorb, it will, and then we'll water it again each morning. Wow, sorry about the bouncing around. We're going to go for a walk down to the garden now. That's the seeds. We had lavender, sage, broccoli, cauliflower, Egyptian spinach, edible flowers, lettuce, beetroot, carrot, another carrot, so we had purple and white carrots, Cossack pineapple, sour gherkin, marigolds, and black cherry tomatoes. So let's go down and have a look at the garden. This end of the garden's quite empty, and this is where lots of those seeds are going to go. This is a spaghetti squash that we saved. Well, not really saved. It was on sale. It was sort of looking a bit sad. This whole section here is empty, and we go straight into king purple beans. They are growing really, really well. This is the zoom in on any of that. Working all the way. I think there's 6 plants there. They're the type of plant that once you plant them, once they start fruiting, pick them young, and it will encourage new growth, new fruit. So from those 6 plants, I'm hoping we'll get quite a harvest over the coming weeks. Alright, again, this section is reasonably empty. So we do have a long yellow sweet capsicum. Again, I got that at the same time as the spaghetti squash, and it was on sale. It was looking a bit sad. Now that we've planted it, it's actually coming back quite nice. There's some onion plants in here. They're not growing great. I'll leave them in there but I will plant right up to them. If they get smothered out by another plant, so be it. We have more onions further down, and it's actually quite late in the season. We have coriander, which I'd say in the next month is going to go to seed. We'll collect the seeds and we will plant more of those next year. They were really nice. We have a bush tomato. It said it didn't need any stakes, but I will be staking it in shortly. I think that it's getting a little bit heavy for the stem, and it's only got one good sized fruit, but there's plenty of little flowers coming up, so that one I think is going to be a good harvest in the coming months. We have, actually we'll walk down that way, we have strawberry plants. Lots of the stuff that we've got in has been a little bit late. We planted it at the start of spring when really it should have been at the end of winter. We have had really hot weather. You can see that the leaves are going red. That's just because it's too hot. Can't actually see that one by standing on the ground, but it looks the same as the others. And on this side we have mint. If you are going to plant mint, plant it in a pot, because it will take over the entire garden if you do not. Every time we take a mint sprig, so say we would take this piece here, take the top 4 leaves, say, we would actually cut it right back down here where there's some new growth, and all of those new growth you can see on these ones here. Every little section is going to put off heaps of new little pieces of mint that you would want to be using. So the more you cut it back, the more you're going to get. Mint's great, just make sure you put it into a pot. Alright, then down to the leafy greens. Rocket, which is what we have across the front there, that is going to handle the this southeast Queensland heat well. Those leaves are a little bit yellow. I'll pick anything off that doesn't look really healthy, and I'll get some water into them this afternoon. It shouldn't be too dry. No, it's still fine in here. You know, I probably won't even water it this afternoon. The leafy greens, if they go to seed, we will keep the ones that we like. A couple of them are quite bitter, so we will let them die and we won't plant those again. That's a cucumber plant here and a capsicum plant which is getting eaten alive. There was a capsicum growing on that one and it has been picked off by some pest last night. Baby spinach is too hot for the baby spinach, so that has finished up for the year. We'll plant that again at the end of summer in seed, so we can get it nice and big in the seedling pots, and as soon as it cools down enough we will get it into the garden again. That would probably be my favorite leafy green to eat, so we'll get lots of them planted. These here are onion plants. It's late in the season. You can see that the bases are just starting to fill out. I think you can see that anyway. We'll be picking baby onions this year because I don't think they're going to go to full size, especially bunched up that close and how late it is into spring already. That's another cucumber plant that's going to grow up on the mesh at the back. Hopefully I can get it up there before the fence gets too hot. Sometimes the hot fence can stop the plant from growing too well. I need to get some type of spacer or some type of insulation there. Just haven't done it yet. As we come down this end, we have herbs. These are parsley. We actually have a bunch of parsley. It's one of my daughter's favorites, so she comes out and just eats it every day. We've had 1 or 2 plants in the past and it's not enough to keep up, so I think I have 6 in the garden at the moment. A few others, some garlic chives at the back there. They will grow anywhere. Sort of pull them out. If you didn't eat a lot of them, it would probably be worth putting it into a pot because they do just send out a think they're called pops, just new plants beside the old ones. Every now and then I just dig the whole thing out and replant just a small part of it. It grows all year round. It's great. Instead of using real garlic, if you don't have any, you can also use it instead of onion. So that's one that I'd suggest planting. As we come down here, we have our tomato plant. I need to put another couple of clips on that one. It's on a lean and lower trellis. So as it grows up to the top, we don't have to stop it growing or it being too tall to be able to work with. We will just lower the strings down and it will just lean. I guess you don't get a big bow in the bottom by the time it gets up there. The fruit at the bottom will be finished, so we will pick the fruit and the leaves off and we will just continue working with the height. So that's an interesting concept that we're trying out this year with this tomato plant. The tomato plant down here would not work with that. It is a bushing type of tomato. So I think these are called indiscriminate is the type of tomato that you need for that. Continuing along, we have zucchini. Finally, the plant has taken off. It really struggled. I actually thought it was going to die, but it's taking off. It's flowering. The leaves are the nice color now. So we will watch that, and I'm expecting it to really take off. It has this whole area, so it's got plenty of room to move out. This little section here at the front is going to be for the carrots. If you've just joined us, we've just finished planting a whole bunch of seeds, and they will be going in the garden. So there's a bunch of empty spots, like this one here, or in this section here, where we're going to be planting. We'll be planting and harvesting all year. So we've started harvesting now some of the first plants that we planted, like the lettuce and some chives and onion leaves, stuff like that. But the further we get into it, we should be doing a nice harvest each day and then planting in some new things when the plants are finished. Keep up with the seasons, keep up with our needs and what space we have. These are citrus plants. We have mandarin at the back, orange at the front. That orange plant will be moved out to its own area as we work through our backyard. We have huge plans to remove. We're going to have no turf anymore, no grass, cooch, whatever you like to call it. It's all going to be gardens, so that will have its own spot in the coming months. For now, it's fine in the pot. Beetroot across the front. We're going to do another row of beetroot and probably put some beetroot in other places, filling up all the spots. I've seen a lady talking about mulch is a waste of money. I sort of disagree, but I liked her idea that if you need a mulch, you could just plant another plant. So beetroot is going to be one of our filler plants that we'll use because we eat so much of it. Corn, again, leaving spaces for more plants. This is going to be for more corn. So we will plant corn here, then corn here. We will let them grow. We will replant corn where these ones are once they're finished, and we'll do that probably 2 times before we change it over to a different crop or give it a breast. We keep up with the food, the fertilizing. Corn doesn't need too much work though. As we move past, another little empty spot, but it is right next to where the pumpkin's growing, and the pumpkin is going to use a lot of nutrients out of the ground. So we will mulch heavily, compost heavily, and feed this area. But we'll put something in here, I'm just not sure what it's going to be yet. Okay, move up to the lemon tree. This one is now in its 2nd year, potentially, maybe it's the 3rd year actually. I did the stem wrong, so it doesn't have a strong enough stem. I don't know. I'll try and work on it and see if I can keep it going. But for now, it's tied up. Heaps of fruit. There'd have to be 50 lemons on that little plant at the moment. As we come around further, we have sweet potato in a pot. That's in a pot so we can harvest it easier. It's still got quite a long time of growing. And then over there is lemongrass. The reason that one's in a pot is it would take over the garden. If we planted it in there, it is a grass and it will just keep on growing. This whole section here was an old garden shed. So there's a concrete slab and we have put the straw down to stop the, for the somewhere for the pumpkin to grow. Just trying to use as much of the area in our backyard as we can. We will continue up here and have a quick look at the honeybees, European honeybees. These are a swarm that we collected a couple of months ago. They are working really well. They're all slowing down now. You can see the ones returning. Some of them have pollen. Some of them, I'm sure, have their stomachs full making honey. So really happy with how going there, with how they are going. If you'd like to see inside that hive, hit the subscribe button. There is plenty of videos on there about the bees. And we will walk back around here towards the garden. So all this grass here is going to be gone. Gardens, some pathways. Okay, these ones here are Australian native stingless bees. This is another rescue hive. We've taken these out of a bird breeding box. And they are in an Australian hive. It's called an oath hive. So that is our garden. Wow, we've been on here for an hour. So I will be off. If you'd like to see anything else from us, our garden, our backyard transformation, the bees, there will be chickens. Before summer's done, we will have chickens as well. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will talk to you again soon. I hope you have a great day. This is Aussie Backyard Harvest, and this is our garden.